Items millionaires never spend their money on. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but every time you look at something, you just don't care. The millionaires do, which is why they don't splurge their money on these items. So we prepared a list of things that the millionaires do not buy and keep their cash in their bank accounts. Let's start with what we've always dreamt of, a big mansion. No, you will not see any of the millionaires who manage to, if not grow but be millionaires throughout, have huge mansions. They usually live in apartments that are quite well furnished and expensive. All in nice two-floored houses in the suburbs, but never a mansion. Unlike most of us, they do not buy homes that require a large amount of money to be spent from their pockets. You'll see so many CEOs in syllabus who are millionaires, but they do not own any mansions but have modest apartments. Songs even still live with their parents or share the apartment among friends. A billionaire like Mark Zuckerberg himself lives in an apartment that costs 0.01% of his wealth. Yet they refrain from buying all this even if it would make into the news and ultimately benefit them. This is because the mansion itself cost $1 million or sometimes even more than that. Then comes in the added cost of maintaining it throughout, which will cost you hundreds or even more in a year. These millionaires need to travel to places all year round for work-related business, so ultimately they'll not even be able to enjoy the mansion they bought. So next time you buy a house that is way over your budget, think twice. Next up is a luxury car. Yes, you will not see them buying too many luxury cars. They will indulge maybe in one sports car or a BMW as it defines their class, but you won't see them having a plethora of cars parked in the garage. Again, we're not talking about those millionaires who ultimately need to file for bankruptcy. We're talking about the ones who successfully maintain and even increase their wealth. If you buy too many luxury cars, it increases the cost of buying them, but keeping them safely in a garage can be expensive. Not to mention all the maintenance and tunes that you'll have to provide them all year round. Some don't even run on regular gas, so the fuel is expensive as crap. Millionaires do not like to go over budget over anything. They do not like to spend a significant part of their income on just one single item. Now this is something all car enthusiasts need to think about, isn't it? Now let's get inside the mansion you dreamt of. Millionaires do not buy too many branded clothes. This may sound controversial to a lot of people, as everyone thinks that the blazer that a millionaire is wearing is probably more than $1,000. So this is how they think. 1% of a millionaire's income in a year is some $10,000. Even if they buy 5 clothing items that will have a cost in thousands, 1% of their income is gone. They won't even wear all long, and you'll have to discard it in a few months. So they indulge themselves with those that cost them hundreds. They'll usually go for items that, when ultimately added to the wardrobe, will make their value max 4 to 5% of their yearly income. If they don't do this, half their income will be spent on just clothes. So when you go to Bloomingdale again, do not buy that jacket. It might not be worth it. Speaking about Bloomingdale, millionaires do not buy impulsively. This is something we always do. We see something on catalog, it might be something new IKEA piece that we do not require at all, but we still buy it. One thing that will always go in our minds at that time would be, I can spoil myself at least this much. You do that and then ultimately short money by the end of the month. There it is, the crying and the regret. It's not like the rich don't spend on stuff, they do that too, but they limit and are mindful of the bank balance. An impulsive buy once in a while can even boost your willingness to work, but that does not mean doing it every month or so. Instead, try to save the money and add it to your worth. This brings us to the fact that they swipe their card only for what they can afford. This is the biggest reason for debt among the youth besides college tuition. Everybody thinks a credit card is synonymous with infinite money once they get issued. This happens with almost everyone. They forget that they need to clear the dues ultimately. Sometimes we're even trapped by what seems like lucrative offers of down payment, paying for stuff a few years later. The cold hard truth is that nobody's financial situation will improve in a year. If it does, you're involved in a risky sector, so that's all the more reason to save and invest more. Millionaires are always mindful about where to spend and what to spend. They always have a fair idea about whether they'll be able to afford this. If they cannot, then they don't. It's not just the amount of the item that needs to be given, it's the interest charged. So before using any card, read every term and condition carefully and get an estimate on how much you would actually have to pay for every $1,000. Some even charge higher or lower interest depending on the amount spent, so think about that as well. Rational millionaires do not leave a large inheritance. There is the fact that nobody can deny it. The more money you have an surety for, the less you will work. Few people actually make good use of large inheritance and expand them more. People like Bill Gates have not left their kids with too much money. Instead, they invested it in education and development. This is because they don't want their children to be assured and just splurge more. So they do not keep large inheritances. Instead, they spend money to make their kids able to learn and fill their own lockers. Some backup plan is important, and it's wise to leave some stuff so that there's any mishap, they can be covered. But the majority focus of spending on kids is to make them more skillful in earning money. These are all the things that you'll see the rational millionaires do. These are the ones that can ultimately hold onto their wealth and increase it exponentially. Earning a load is useless if you cannot save and invest it. And for that, you need to put an end to unnecessary savings. Everyone needs to have an idea of their bank balance and work accordingly. So, what do you think, guys? Are these expenses meaningful or just a waste? Do you agree with these habits? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video, then like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon to never miss another video. Goodbye.